believing that this negativity is your story. You start believing that you can't do something. You start believing that this thing that I failed at, okay, when you get the confirmation at the end of the loop, okay, so what does it look like? It looks like trigger, thought, emotion, behavior, result, reinforcement. And it goes in a circle, and that's why they call it a loop. Good morning, Jay. So we've upgraded our camera on this side. We've changed things around a little bit, and we're going to be readjusting for a couple of weeks. Okay. So good morning, guys. Good morning. A lot of my clients, Miss Sunshine. Good morning. A lot of my clients are on the chat, so we have a chat going. Bear with us. We have to go back and forth. Okay. So negative feedback loop. How does it get created? Well, first of all, there's a trigger. Okay. So let's say, for negativity's sake, let's say it's a failure. Let's say it's rejection. Let's say it's a stressful situation. Let's say it's a memory of something negative. Okay, so that's the trigger, right? Then comes the thought. Okay, the thought brings the emotion. Okay, the emotion creates the behavior or the reaction. Okay, or the action, which creates the result. Good morning, guys. Which creates the result. Okay, and then you get the reinforcement. What's the reinforcement? The reinforcement's the confirmation. Okay, so it's the confirmation. So if you failed at something, right, and you get all the way, to the result part, okay, so you get the result and it's a failure, you say to yourself, see, I'm a failure. You see, I failed. You see, this never works. Okay, and then you go back into the loop again with another trigger and another thought and another emotion and a behavior that matches those things. Okay, and then you get the result. So we look at the subconscious tree. Okay, so your subconscious beliefs, okay, and this is why we've been talking about anxiety so much, right? Because people with anxiety have this problem. Okay, so if you have anxiety, okay, if you're suffering from anxiety, being anxious, that kind of thing, okay, pay attention. Okay, so your subconscious loops start, okay, this negativity loop starts in your subconscious beliefs. The things you believe to be true, either about yourself or about the world or whatever it is, whatever the topic is. Okay, so the roots of the tree are what you believe to be true. The trunk of the tree, okay, is your paradigm based upon what you believe. So your paradigm is the way you see the world, your attitude, your worldview, okay? And that affects your actions, affects how you act. So trigger, thought, emotion, okay? And then you have the actions. The actions bring results, okay? And that's the process. That's the way it works. So it all starts according to what you believe, okay? Trigger, thought, emotion, behavior, okay? Result, behavior is the action, okay? Or the way that you do the action or whatever. Commit the action, that kind of thing. Good morning, guys. And then you get the result. And then you get the confirmation. And you confirm it to yourself. So if it's a negative thought process, if it's a negative loop, in that reinforcement, you get the confirmation and you go, you see, I knew I'm a failure, or I knew that I would fail, that kind of thing. That's the confirmation. That's the reinforcement. It reinforces the loop. So what happens next time? Well, next time you get another trigger, something else that triggers you into that negativity loop, and the process repeats. Then you get another negative thought. Okay, negative thought brings a negative emotion. And this is why we say you can control the thoughts, your thoughts. Okay, negative thoughts, you can control them. You say stop and you switch the focus. You say stop and you focus on something positive. Why is this important? Because you'll get in the habit of saying stop when you get a negative thought and not participating in that process and not reinforcing the negativity loop. Okay, because it's a loop. It just keeps going in circles and it repeats with different triggers. So when you get a negative thought, say stop and refocus on something else. Look at a screensaver. Put a screensaver on your phone. Maybe it's a picture of your dog, your cat, okay, your loved ones, and refocus. And look at that. Now you switch your attention, right? Because like attracts like. Wherever you place your attention is what's going to grow. Okay? So you amplify whatever it is you focus on. So what are you focused on? Well, some people are focused on worry. When people have anxiety, they're focused on worry. They start to worry. Worry is never good. They're not worried about good stuff, right? Like you don't sit around worried that you're going to make money next week. You don't sit around worried that everything's going to be great tomorrow, right? That's not what worry is. Okay, but worry is like praying for something bad to happen. Okay, because your attention is focused on whatever it is that's negative. Okay, then your amygdala kicks in after 6 seconds of a negative thought, and it gives you all the negative what ifs. And let's say you choose one of those, and let's say you think of one of those for more than 6 seconds. Now you have a new bunch. Okay, so trigger, thought, emotion, behavior, result, confirmation. Or we could say reinforcement. But it reinforces the negativity loop. Okay? So what then becomes the interpretation of the loop itself? Well, I'm not good enough. This always happens to me. I'm always the one that gets the short end of the stick or the bad deal or whatever it is, right? I always get taken advantage of, whatever, that kind of thing. So what's the emotional response? Anxiety, fear, shame, frustration. Because you're confirming, you're reconfirming. Okay, you reconfirm these ideas in this cycle. It's a wash, rinse, repeat cycle. And why is that? Well, because then you get another trigger. Okay, and that could be whatever you're afraid of, whatever the topic is. And the cycle repeats. And when you get to the confirmation part, oh, okay, yeah, so you confirm these things, right? And then you react to the confirmation. And the way you react to the confirmation is the way you feel, okay? Feel. Emotion goes into your subconscious as a program. Feel. It's the way you feel about something. Miss Sunshine, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay? It's the way you feel about yourself. It's the way you feel about whatever the topic is. Okay? But that's what happens. The behavioral reaction, okay? So a person reacts based upon the emotion. Why? Because the emotion, right? The thought brings the emotion. Whatever it is you think about, okay, brings how you feel about it. You think about it first, and then you start to feel, okay? And however you feel about it starts to go into your subconscious as a program. And your subconscious goes, oh, that's what we're doing? Okay, we'll repeat that. Okay, so when you react based upon those emotions, okay, based upon the negative emotions, we're talking about a negativity loop, okay? It results in avoidance, overthinking, procrastination, self-sabotage, all those things, withdraw, okay? I always say that, right? You start going like this. This is withdrawing. This is keeping to yourself. This is isolating. This is retreating. Okay, retreating from friend groups, retreating from activities, retreating from going out of the house. Some people stay in their house, some people hide in their house. And a lot of them are convinced that, oh no, I'm just a stay-home type. This is just me. I'm just like this. Okay. Miss Sunshine, good morning, good morning. I'm just like this. This is just me. Why? Because it's normal at that point, right? It becomes normal. And it becomes normal because you repeat it. Okay, so repetition goes into the subconscious. The subconscious goes, oh, this is what we're doing? Oh, okay. And you start to see it as normal. And this is why Janice, who's on the chat, right? Oh, thank you. Thank you, user. Thank you so much. This is why Janice, who's on my chat, she's my former client, she said yesterday, you don't even know you're a part of this because it's so normal. It just feels normal. It's like, oh, this is the way I am. This is the way it is. Until you get pulled out of it. Okay, and that's why we're talking about the feedback loop today. Okay. So your behavior creates an outcome. Your behavior is the action you take, what you do. Okay. So let's say, you know, you get a negative thought. The negative thought brings a negative emotion. Okay. Out of the way you feel, it provokes an action, and then you take the action. The action is negative. Then you get a negative result. Okay. So it creates a negative outcome, missed opportunity, poor performance, lack of progress, all of those things, right? And then the reinforcement part is when you go, you see, you're a failure. You see, you failed again. You see, nothing works for me. You see, whatever. Okay, whatever. I'm just saying that happens. What is normal? Balance. Balance is normal. Everybody fails, and you fail your way to success. Okay, what's not normal, user, is when you get stuck in it. Okay, and this is what we call stuck. Being stuck in it is being stuck in your anxiety and not knowing why you go in circles. Okay, so awareness is a big part of it. Okay, so you need to be aware that this happens. You need to be aware that this is a thing, because knowledge brings responsibility. Now that you know about it, now you're responsible to the knowledge. Okay? So you're responsible to the knowledge once you're aware. Okay? And once you're aware, you can go, oh, it's that negative feedback loop again. And how do you reverse this? How do you counteract this? You do the same thing, but you change it to something positive. It's very simple. It's not rocket science. And people think that something's wrong with them. A lot of my clients, they thought something was wrong with them. I said, nothing's wrong with you. You're just stuck. We will unstuck you or unstick you, right? And the vocalization exercise does that. It pulls you out. Okay, and that's what Janice was saying that on the chat. Bishop, thank you, Bishop. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hey, Cecilia. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, so when you're stuck in this negative feedback loop, you don't know it. Why? Because you just know that these things happen to you. That's all. But you don't know why. So I'm explaining why. So you go, okay, yeah, that's what's going on. When you don't know what's going on, what do? Yeah, you go to therapy, you go to, right? And you should go and get diagnosed. You should go and have someone explain to you what it is you're going through. Okay? And why does this keep repeating? Because your brain and your nervous system are designed for efficiency and survival. Okay, and this is that negativity bias that we were born with. We were engineered that way for survival, for evolution, evolutionary purposes. Okay, but to live in survival mode is not the thing. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. Marjan, good morning. Good morning. I hope that answers your question, user. So, okay, so balance, right? Some things fail. I mean, I fail all the time. I fail all the time. Okay, but I understand the process. I understand that when I achieve some wins, I have to reestablish the positivity loop. It's the same as the negativity loop. It's just with something positive instead of with something negative. Okay? But it keeps repeating because human beings are built to be efficient. Now, you may not think you're efficient. Okay? But I'll show you how efficient you are. And my clients get pulled out by the vocalization. And then what? Well, the vocalization remedies the nervous system. Okay? It's the vagus nerve that goes all the way down into your heart, into your gut. Okay? Look it up. Okay, vagus nerve stimulation. Then it's also hormonal. Okay, it's your neurotransmitters firing oxytocin and endorphins. So oxytocin is the bonding hormone. Why is this important? Because then you seek bonding. You start to bond. What's the opposite of that? Bonding. Isolation. And people wonder why they're isolated, why they're withdrawn, why they don't want to go around people. Because they're anxious. These are all the opposites. Okay? So for human beings, socializing is healthy. For human beings, bonding is natural. We have hormones that promote bonding. It's called oxytocin. Your brain will build patterns, though, okay? It will build patterns. You know how you have pattern recognition? You know how you're sitting in the doctor's office, in the waiting room, and you're kind of looking around and you notice the patterns in the wallpaper. You notice the patterns, whatever, right? You notice patterns. Sometimes you even count, right? You count how many lines. You're like, oh, it's a pattern. It's like 3, 6, 9, whatever you start counting, okay? It's pattern recognition. This is the way singing is done, okay? Pattern recognition, melody. Any human being can sing. Any human being. Some human beings have not memorized melody, okay? They haven't memorized this pattern. They can't do it with their voice. Some of them recognize the pattern when they hear it, okay, because you recognize the melodies you like, right? But you can't articulate it. You can't do it through your voice. Once a human being has walked through this, it all commits to subconscious. Okay, another thing is the nervous system seeks familiarity, something that's familiar, right? Familiar states. And what happens? It goes, oh, this is that. This is that again, right? This is familiar. I know this. I recognize this. This is familiar. Okay, even if you're uncomfortable, okay, this is with positive or negative things, okay? Good or bad. Yeah, there you go. There you go, Travis. Exactly, good or bad, right? Positive or negative. Okay, you identify positive patterns. You identify negative patterns. Okay, your subconscious automates repeated experiences. And this is why I say, I know these guys, right? Men that I worked with that had been married over and over and over, okay? These are serial monogamists. And what they're really seeking is a mommy, okay? But the problem is they haven't fixed the subconscious program, okay? This is in regards to relationships, but they haven't fixed the subconscious program. So it doesn't matter if they marry girl A, B, or C, okay? After a while, the programs start kicking in, okay? And what did we discuss about the program? Trigger, thought, emotion, behavior, result, reinforcement. Okay, so the trigger could be something that happens in the relationship, which provokes the thought, which provokes the emotion, okay? And then he will act based upon the emotion. And that action will have a result. And pretty soon, guess what? He's divorcing wife number 2. And now he goes to look for wife number 3. But because he hasn't solved this negativity loop in regards to relationships in his life, wife number 3, it will repeat. It doesn't matter who the wife is. It doesn't matter who the girl is. It doesn't matter what the subject matter is, only if it's positive or negative. If it's positive, okay, what does the subconscious do? It looks for other positive scenarios. It looks for other positive things. Oh, positivity, that's what we're doing? Okay, and it will seek avenues towards something positive. So how do you break the negative feedback loop? You establish the positive feedback loop. Okay? So let's go over that so that we're not always talking about negative stuff. Okay? So what's a positive? What does it look like? Same structure. Okay? Trigger, thought, emotion, behavior, result, reinforcement. Same. Okay? And the reason why I mention this is because we've been talking about anxiety. We've been talking about people who get anxious, people who have problems with anxiety. I just took on another client yesterday. Okay, so I took on another client who's having problems being anxious. She's a college student. And she has this challenge of being anxious all the time. The vocalization process will remove her from that. Okay, from the loop. It separates you from the loop. Can you reestablish the loop once that happens? Yeah, you can. But if you're aware of it, the minute it starts happening, you go, oh, that must be that loop again. You see? Okay? But in the positivity loop, let's call it a positivity loop, okay, the quality of each step is different. Why? Because it's positive. So the initial trigger would be something like a small win. So you have a small win. You succeed at something small. Okay? It could be a small win. It could be encouragement, a decision to shift. And that's why when I teach, I only look at positive things. I only tell my clients what they did right. Okay? Because it's not important what they did wrong. We're trying to ignore the wrong things. We're trying to focus on the right things. Okay, I had a guy in the middle of my office like years ago. This must have been 10, 15 years ago. And he stands in the middle of my office and he goes, I need to know what's wrong. And I go, why? He said, so I can fix it. I said, that's not how you fix what's going wrong. He goes, what do you mean? I said, we focus on what you're doing right and amplify that. And eventually it edges out what's going wrong. Because as a human being, you grow things, okay? You start small, and you grow it. If you want to look at it this way, okay, this is the 50 percentile, okay? This is wrong over here. This is right over here, okay? Sorry, I have cameras over here, over here, over here. Okay, so, all right, but this is the 50 percentile. This is wrong on this side, okay? So if you got this much wrong, you focus over here in this small space back here. Maybe this is 60% wrong. Maybe this person is caught in a negative feedback loop all the time, feeling sorry for themselves, telling themselves they're a loser, whatever it is, right? It doesn't matter. Now we focus on over here, we begin to grow this, and now this negativity over here starts shrinking. Because why? Because we're focused on the positive. Okay, this is why the law of attraction tells you, right? You focus on positivity and it starts to multiply, it starts to grow, it starts to increase. Now over here you have 60%, now over here you have 40%. And to start this process, okay, to begin the process, all you have to do is move it across the line 1%. 1% positivity. That gives you the majority of your life as positive. Okay? So with my clients, it's important that I point out everything they're doing good. Now, sometimes it seems like, oh, it's a little too good to be true. Oh, Junior's just, he's just blowing smoke. He's just telling me this stuff. No, I'm teaching you. I'm showing you, I'm demonstrating to you the things you're doing right so that you call it to mind, so that you can consider it a small win, so you can consider it encouragement, okay? And so you can make the decision to shift. Because now your focus is not on woe is me, or I did this wrong, I did that wrong, I did this wrong, and everything's wrong, right? And now you focus on, oh, wow, yeah, I did this right. Yeah, I'm good at this. Yeah, I actually did that. Wow. And that's the beginning of the positivity loop. So it doesn't have to be something big. It doesn't have to be huge. It doesn't have to be a huge win, okay? Small wins. If you read the book Atomic Habits by James Clear, okay, you're going to understand small wins. Okay, so small little tweaks in your habits, okay? Small little increments of good stuff over time amount to huge change. Okay, it's a great book. I recommend it. Okay, Atomic Habits, James Clear. Look it up. Check it out. Okay. When the mind assigns a new meaning to something, okay, like I handled that well, I did that, that was good. Yeah, I did a good job. Okay, and I encourage my clients to look in the mirror and face themselves and tell themselves this. Why? Because your subconscious recognizes your image over everyone else. Because your subconscious recognizes your voice over everyone else. Look yourselves in the eye, in the mirror, and tell yourself you did a good job. I know. It's awkward, right? Sounds crazy, right? It's subconscious. You're distracted out here in the physical world. You're distracted into things in the physical world that make you believe you are less than. Think about that. When you're distracted too much out here in the physical world, you lose the reality of your spirit. You lose the reality that you're not your body, you're not your name, you're that spirit that lives in here. God lives in here. Jesus Christ told you that the kingdom is within. Gautama Buddha said it too. He said it in a different way. Krishna said it too. He said it in a different way. But when you're stuck in a negativity loop, what are you relying on for solutions? You're looking out there, right? You're looking at the therapy, at therapy. You're looking at medicine. You're looking at whatever the solutions are, but you're not looking in here. You're blaming things out here. Okay, you don't have to blame things in here. The solution is in here. Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. The vocalization will pull you out. The affirmations, I am so happy and grateful now that I'm confident, thank you. Okay, go ahead, write it. Remember in the old days when you were late to class? Okay, I don't know, yeah, it was very, very a long time ago for me, but I'm sure you've heard the stories. And the teacher would make you write, I will not be late to class. Okay, well, that doesn't work because the word not will cancel out everything in your subconscious because it's a negative. Okay? But if your teacher was making you write, I will be on time to class from now on, okay, that would have been an effective affirmation. And they make you write it on the blackboard 50 times. Why? Because they want it to go in your subconscious. They want you to memorize it. Okay? Because it goes into your subconscious goes, oh, okay, we're going to be on time. Oh, is that what we're doing? Okay. And then your subconscious will actually lead you to different actions and thoughts that will create on time for you. So this affirmation thing is not woo woo. It's not it's nothing like that. Changes your mindset. I am. It stays with you throughout the day. Yes, it does, Janice. Yep, that's my client Janice, my former client Janice, and she's once a client, always family. She's family now. She's in Denver, Colorado. So I teach people from all over the world, okay? And they all have one thing in common. They are all awareness in here. They are all human beings in here. This is why I only have 5-star reviews. If you look us up, okay, look us up online. Look us up on Google or AI or whatever. Here for You Life Coaching Honolulu. You'll only see 5-star reviews. Why? Because I deal with humans, okay? I deal with human beings. We're all the same in here. Okay, I don't care what color your skin is. I don't care what kind of hairstyle you have. I don't care what kind of clothes you wear. I don't care whatever, okay? Whatever. It doesn't matter. We're all the same in here. So you start with an empowering thought, right? What comes next? An empowering emotion. Okay? So now you have an elevated emotion if you have an elevated thought. So this is the negativity loop backwards. Okay? Positive. Positive now. Okay? And when you have an elevated emotion, what happens? You become more confident, right? You become more confident. What? You become more calm, right? Motivation is automatic. Motivation is automatic. Janice said, awareness will bring you happiness. Yeah, it will. Because you need to be aware of yourself. You need to be aware of the blessings in here. You need to understand what kind of a blessing it is to be a human being. And when you understand this, okay, when you get pulled out of the distraction into the physical world and back into the spiritual world, and I'm talking about yourself as a spirit instead of looking in the mirror and just seeing a human being, okay, then life changes. Yes, Luke. Yes, it is. Okay. So what else does it do? It brings relief. It brings relief. Why? Because now you're not scared. All the negative emotions are rooted in fear. Okay? Worry, irritation, disappointment. I have a list over there. Criticism, hate, anger. Okay? Resentment. Resentment is a small little undercurrent of anger. Okay? That gets triggered, that gets brought back by memory. Boredom, envy, despair, grief, guilt, shame, and they're all rooted in fear. Okay? They're all rooted in fear. So now what happens with the behavior part? Oh, you get aligned behavior. Why? Well, because now your thought, right? The trigger, okay, is positive. The thought becomes positive. Okay, when the thought becomes positive, what happens to the emotion? The emotion becomes positive. When the emotion becomes positive, what happens? The behavior, the act itself, whatever you do, becomes positive. So then what happens? Then you get a positive result. Easy. Okay, positive result. Better actions create better outcomes all day long. No, Luke, wealthy. There's a difference. Stay tuned. You might learn about it. Okay. You get a positive result. What happens with these positive results? Right? Well, they create better outcomes, right? So you get a better result. So let's say small successes, let's say progress, let's say recognition, let's say momentum to continue, let's say automatic motivation. Okay. And once you're in the positivity loop, that's all that's necessary. That's all that's necessary is that you change. Okay. Now the reinforcement becomes, see, this is working. See, I'm good at this. See, I can handle this. See, this is not so bad. See, I can make money. See, I can have a good relationship. See, my career is going great. And that's the positive feedback loop. Why does this build momentum faster? It's because your nervous system shifts out of survival, okay, and into regulation. So in here you have 3 states of awareness: positive, conscious, subconscious, superconscious. If you want to look at it like a computer, okay, this is how I do the analogy. So your conscious mind, which is only 5% of your life, okay, 5%, chooses topics. It says, I want to do this. I choose to do that. I want to fly to Mexico for spring break. I want to do whatever, right? Whatever. It makes the decision. Okay, once that decision is a belief in your subconscious, okay, once your subconscious goes, oh, I get it, spring break, it starts to create inroads towards the goal. Call it a goal. Okay, it's manifestation. Manifestation is subconscious. It's not magic. It's not witchcraft. But now you're going to take steps towards a goal. So what that might be, well, maybe I should save money. Maybe I should get a side job, side hustle. Maybe I should do some research into Mexico, into going there for spring break, right? Okay? And then what happens? Eventually you get your goal. Eventually things materialize. Why? Because now you're taking steps towards it. What does the superconscious do? The superconscious is God or universe or source, however you believe. I'm not here to tell you what to believe. But that's what that is. And what does that do? That assists your subconscious. Why? Because your beliefs, the things you believe to be true, your core values, your core beliefs are in your subconscious. And now God goes, oh, that's what you're working on? Okay, let me open some doors for you. Let me bring the right people into play. And what happens when you take the steps towards the target or towards the goal or towards the manifestation? The doors open, you meet somebody, right? I use the XYZ company as an example. You want to work at XYZ company. So you write an affirmation. I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm working at XYZ company. Thank you. And you write it for about 2 weeks. In about 2 weeks, your subconscious starts going, oh, we're working at XYZ company. Is that what we're doing? Okay. Right? And then it starts creating inroads. The superconscious goes, oh, you're starting to believe that. Okay, here, let's open some doors. And maybe you're at the gym one day and you meet somebody and you start talking. And in the conversation, it's like, oh, well, what do you do? Oh, I'm in human resources. Oh, where do you work at? XYZ company. You see? You see? And then what? Well, we call that a coincidence. But if you believe in God, or if you say you believe in God, or if you really want to believe in God, then you have to say it's God that did that. Because it's too random. Okay? Now, if you don't believe in God, okay, then there's just the conscious and subconscious. But the superconscious suggests that we're all connected. So the conscious mind is the processor. That's your operating system. Your subconscious is where the programs are stored. They are literally programs that repeat. The superconscious is consciousness. The superconscious says that we're all connected to each other. And when you start thinking, and when you start getting ideas, and you start acting on inspired thought, doors begin to open, you meet the right people, and then what? Good morning, Claire. And then what happens? The right people come into view, the right people, you meet the right, all of a sudden, yeah, there's openings at XYZ company. Come down and fill out an application. And you go down there, and in about 3 weeks, you're working at XYZ company. And you go, wow, that was a coincidence. So either you're living this random life, okay, where everything is going like this, it's coming to you like this, it's random, or the universe is organized, and everything is energy, and everything is intelligent in the universe, and everything has a purpose. So which is it? Okay? I'm not here to tell you what it is. You decide for yourself, okay? You decide. But I'm here to tell you that the how is God's job, or the superconscious. How it happens. Okay? Because you don't know how. I don't know how I did anything. Okay? That wasn't my job. My job was to focus on what and why. That's it. That's your job. What and why. Okay? If you focus on what you want to do and know why, it's important to know why you want to do things. Okay? It's important to know why. Okay? But if you focus on what you want to do, focus on that. You know, I want to be a barber. Okay, there you go. Focus on barber. Okay? Look up barber accounts on social media. Follow barbers. See what they do. Get interested in what they do. Understand what it is they do. And then maybe, oh, daily hug. Thank you, John. Thank you, thank you. Kelly, good morning. Good morning, Kelly. Thank you. Thank you for following. But now what? Well, now maybe it's barber school. Oh, but I don't have enough money for barber school. Okay, so if you put the belief in your subconscious will give you ideas. Well, maybe I can work at night and at a night job, or maybe I can do a little extra, whatever, or right? And save up some money. And then what? Now I have money to go to barber school. And then what do? You go to barber school. Maybe it's something off the wall. Maybe it's something like you get approved for a credit card, and the credit card allows you enough to go to barber school. And maybe that's your investment. Because as a barber, you could pay off that credit card and you could, right? I'm just saying there's a variety of ways to do things. But now you're going to barber school. And guess what? You're going to complete barber school. Why? Because you're interested. That's the way human beings work. It goes into your subconscious. I want to be a barber. I want to be a barber. I want to be a barber. Okay, and you write it in the present tense. I am so happy and grateful now that I'm a barber. Thank you. And what does that do? It cements it into your subconscious, especially if you do it with emotion. And now it becomes a belief. And now the subconscious repeats that belief. If you put my name into a browser, into anything, teach you how to earn much money, please. Yeah, sure. Yeah, just join our lives every day and take notes. Okay, you will learn. It's the same process with money. It's the same process with health. It's the same process with a relationship. It's the same process with anything. It doesn't matter what it. Money is not special. Okay, I don't know where you live, but if you live in America, you know that money's not based on anything. Money's not special. Okay, people have hang-ups about money because, yeah. Exactly, John. It's just energy. It's an energy. I say that all the time about money. We just haven't talked about money for a while, but yeah. You want to speak English every day, okay? Practice. There you go. You have your wish right there. Subsea upload. I'm so happy. Good things come to you. Yeah, it does, Janice. It does, Janice. Okay. So when you create this positivity loop about money, so create this positive, this money is a big problem. Okay, you see, money is a big problem. That's what you believe. You have to change your beliefs about money. Okay, money's not a problem. Money's an energy. Money's a good thing. Okay, when you start saying things like money's a problem, okay, Ian Bowie 5156. Okay, when you start saying money is a problem, guess where it goes. Okay, when you start feeling money's a problem, it goes into your subconscious. Then what? It becomes a problem. And then your subconscious goes, oh, money's a problem, and it will seek out ways to confirm that money's a problem in your subconscious. Thank you, Queen of Luck. There you go. So Queen of Luck said, okay, here. So John, let's read John's comment first. So John said, your words are your wand, magic wand. Okay. My pen is my wand. He said, you create your reality through the words you use. Yeah, because they enforce they create your feelings. Let's see, the big problem. Okay, Queen of Luck said the big problem. Start with what you think. The big problem starts with what you think about. Yep. You want to change your life. Okay, stick with that thought. That's better for you. Stick with that thought. There you go. Hello, good morning, VIP. Good morning. Okay, so anyway, let's get through this, okay? So when you have a negativity loop, it's because it started with a negative topic. When you switch the topics to positive thoughts, positive triggers, okay, people are like, positive triggers? Yeah, you get triggered with positive stuff. But you have to form these loops first. And then it will repeat. Why does it repeat? Because the last step is confirmation. Okay, so let's recap. Okay, let's recap from the beginning because we're almost done today. Okay, trigger, thought, emotion, behavior, result, confirmation, or reinforcement. Okay, so if you have a negative thought, a negative trigger, so something triggers you into a negative thought. You see something bad, or you see the stock market going down, right? Maybe that's the trigger. Then you have a negative thought. Oh my God, I'm going to lose my investments. Okay? Negative thought. It brings an emotion. What emotion is that going to bring? Fear. Okay? Maybe your heart starts beating a little bit. Maybe your gut kind of goes, you know that feeling, butterfly stomach kind of thing that they talk about. Okay, that kind of stuff. Okay, 6 new messages. Sorry, I'm not keeping up. Okay, tune in tomorrow and I'll talk about money for you. Okay, but you have to ask me tomorrow. Okay, you have to ask me. Gina, good morning, Gina. Hey, Gina. So Gina, talk to So Dakota. Talk to Janice. Janice, Gina is one of my new clients in California. Say hi. Say hi. Give her some love. Give her some love, you guys. Gina's a new client. Good morning. Good morning. Gina's a new client in California, and maybe for my former clients and current clients, share your experiences with Gina. Okay, so let's get back. Okay, so trigger, right? Stock market. You get that thought. It brings fear. Okay, now you're a little bit afraid. Why? Because you might lose some investments. Okay, that brings on the emotion. Now, what does the behavior do? Well, maybe you make a decision. If you make a decision out of fear, guess what happens? It's not a good one. Okay? Behavior. So let's say maybe you sell off your stock. Maybe whatever, right? Okay? Now you get a result. What's the result in that scenario? Well, you lost money if you sold when the market went down. You didn't stick it out, right? So you lost money. Okay, that's the result. The reinforcement is, well, there you go. I'm a loser. You see? You see? How do you turn that around to a positive? Well, in a positive scenario, the reinforcement's going to be positive. So the next trigger is going to be positive. So maybe the opposite of that is you get triggered into an article about a business that just went public trading. You're Vietnamese? Oh, nice. Okay, I have a lot of Vietnamese friends in Hawaii. Sure, sure you can. Gina, Janice. But yeah, thank you, thank you. Yeah, she's going to do that. So now you get the trigger. Maybe I should invest in this new company. They just went public. Okay, what is the thought? Okay, that's the thought, right? You get triggered because you see this company went public. Now you go, oh, maybe I should invest in this because they went public. Now, what's the emotion? You feel good, right? Why? Because, well, they just went public. This is the good time to do it, right? This is a good time. Now you feel good. You feel like you're ahead. You feel like you're ahead of the game, ahead of other people. Now what do? The behavior. You purchase the stock. Okay? Is that a good or bad thing? That's your result. Okay, you purchase the stock, okay? Now the reinforcement is I made a good decision. I have a small win. Okay? I have a small win. I created a small win for myself. Kevin, do you help the poor? I help the poor every day. Yep. You have to change your mind, Kevin. Ralph Waldo Emerson, he was a famous author, and he said poverty is the result of feeling poor. If you change your feelings, you will attract wealth. You will attract more for you in all areas. Yeah, there you go, Gina. There you go, Gina. I told you we have a lot of good family on this account right here. We're on 7 different accounts, 7 different platforms every morning. Okay. But you're getting this for free, okay? My clients get this in person. You guys get this for free. All right? So take notes. So that's a positive feedback loop. Now, once you get in the positive feedback loop, what happens? When you get the reinforcement, when you get the confirmation, what does it set you up for? Something positive or negative? It sets you up for something positive. Why? Because you won. Are you going to always win? No. Okay, but when you lose, what's the reinforcement going to be? It's not going to be, I'm a loser. It's going to be, okay, I lost this one. I'll try again. Okay? That's what happens to me. Okay, when I suffer losses, I don't care what they are. Okay, I suffer losses all the time. Sometimes I invest in something, it doesn't work. Sometimes I build a business and then I gotta modify it. I gotta change it. I have to make it adapt to things. So what do? I go, okay, well, failure is part of success. Okay, we learned this lesson, and now we move on to the next win. And that's called positive thinking. So now when you get a trigger, the trigger could be opportunity, okay? Because that's a positive. Yeah, poor mentality is. Queen of Luck said, guys, poor isn't bad, but poor mentality is. Yeah, you're absolutely correct, because that leads to more poverty. Very good. Everything is a lesson and a blessing for my highest and greatest good. There you go, John. Exactly. Gina. Yeah, don't worry, Gina. We're going to get you out of that. We're going to get you out of that. I'm looking forward to your first session. Gina just signed on, you guys. She just signed on. Give her some love. So a positive feedback loop, okay, is something that you want to create. And you want to create it because you want to have more wins than losses. With a negative feedback loop, you end up having more losses than wins. Okay? And sometimes you can win big, but then you lose big. Okay? And a lot of people are not aware. Like, how come I made all these gains and as soon as I got ahead, man, boom, it got taken away. Either in losses or taxes or whatever it is. But yeah, I made these gains and then boom, I lost. Why? Because in the back of your mind, okay, another way to say it is subconscious, okay, in your subconscious, there's a negativity loop. Okay, there are beliefs that you have to change about yourself and about the way you do things. Okay, so what's the solution? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. Okay, let me show you what the affirmations look like. So this is what it looks like, guys. You have to do this. Okay, it looks crazy, I know. These are affirmations, okay? These are not, it's not journaling. Okay, but you have to do this because you have to get it into your subconscious and you have to do it with energy. Now, I always talk about this, okay? Energy means, okay, energy is almost synonymous with feeling as long as you feel good about the energy that you're exerting. Okay? When you're angry and you exert energy when you're angry, when you swear, when you're mad, that kind of thing, okay, that's not conducive to productivity. It's not conducive to good stuff. Okay? But when you feel something bad like that and you're just getting it off, okay, just do it and inside say you're sorry. After you explode, it's okay to explode. Everybody's human. Okay, but explode, get that energy out and say you're sorry. Just to yourself. No, I'm sorry. Like that. There. Okay? Now, you can do the Hawaiian ho'oponopono. Okay? My clients learn about this. Okay? I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Okay? John. What is it, 100,000% agree, or is that 1 million? I can't, too many zeros. Thank you. Okay. So you have to forgive yourself. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And when you do this, you don't have to write it, you can just speak it. Okay? And you speak it with energy. Speak it in sincerity. To yourself. You can do it out loud in the beginning and then just do it to yourself inside. Say it to yourself inside. what does this do? It clears the slate. It clears. Because now you forgive yourself and you have asked for forgiveness. Whoever you believe that's in the super conscious category, okay? Universe, source, God, Jesus Christ, Allah, whatever, whoever, whatever. Okay. So anyway, so we have reached the end of another. Jay is probably just about ready to tell me we gotta go, but I think I beat her to it today. Let's see. So we have 4 new messages. Do we have anything I need to address here? Okay. Assumption mantra. Yeah, assumption mantra is good. That's good. Yep. Yeah, Gina, don't worry. Don't worry. I know you believe. Don't worry. So what happens when you deal with a person who accuses you of something, but I don't hide nothing? Then you ignore them, okay? If you know it's good enough, okay? Don't allow someone else to control you by being too preoccupied with how they feel about things, okay? All right. Thank you. Thank you, John. Here you go, John. There you go. All right. So, yeah, thank you. And we are going to disconnect from our from our Streamlabs, and we will see you guys tomorrow from Hawaii. Okay. So bright and early, 7 a.m. Once again, we want to end with how we began the broadcast, and we'd like to say that we send our prayers and our aloha and our love to everyone from Hawaii who is enduring a weather event. Thank you, Rosie. Thank you. I love that you're here. Thank you, Manuel. Take care. Okay, so we'll please pray for the people of Hawaii right now that they're undergoing a weather event. All right, that's all I'm going to say about it because I have my own personal views, but that's not for this broadcast. What island? Oahu. I'm on Oahu.